We have a new retail patch note for April 16, 2024, the Overwatch 2 Season 10 patch. With this, we've gotten a new balance patch, and let's go through it. I think everybody saw my rant video. This is going to be uploaded on the same night, so 2 uploads today and most likely maybe 2 uploads tomorrow. We will see. But guys, we have the limited time Clash mode coming up. Clash is an upcoming core game mode to Overwatch 2. Teams must battle back and forth over 5 capture points. So if you were enjoying Flashpoint, well, now you have a Flashpoint where things go either one way of the map or the other way of the map. Okay, honestly, jokes aside, I'm looking forward to this. I really want to try it out. I might like it, I might dislike it, but this one time will tell. I'm not going to waste any more time. We're going to dig into deeper into all the challenges and mythic prisms in another video that I'm going to cover everything. We're just going to go straight into the balance patch and talk about that to begin with, okay? Because yeah, let's go into the balance patch. So first of all, we have the hero update. A new hero Venture is here, immediately available to play in competitive play. Okay, so this is the first time ever they're throwing Venture right into the Sharks end of the pool and letting them, you know, just do everything. It's going to be interesting. Venture's also fairly balanced, and we already know they nerfed them, so it's going to be interesting. It is somewhat of a nerf. Let's get started. So tanks, the first change that we have is Doomfist's Rocket Punch. The Empowered Punch is no longer consumed when the windup is cancelled by your Seismic Slimes or Power Block. This is amazing. There's been so many cases where I've actually cancelled through the use of Power Block, so or even the Seismic Slam. This is a beautiful change. I love the fact that these past few patch notes, Doomfist has been just on the buff receiving end. I would really like this treatment for some other heroes, but really happy to see that for Doom, all they care about is making him feel better, at least for now. So thumbs up, you know, because he's pretty good. I would say Doom is pretty much like a good high, I would say he's a pretty good high A tier. You know, he's really not that bad. He's pretty decent tank. Junker Queen's Carnage impact damage has been increased from 90 to 105. Now, again, this is exactly what I was talking about, guys. I feel like I'm about to see my predictions about the patch notes come through. In my rant video, I said that watch, progressively damage will start to get buffed over time. Now, we are beginning to see signs of life here and there of them buffing up some damage ability. So Carnage impact damage increase from 90 to 105, so she can actually brawl better against these new bigger HP pools. I'm not going to be surprised if at some point Genji gets a buff and his dash damage goes up to maybe 55 or 60. So it's going to be very interesting, you know, what they're going to do. So next up we have Reinhardt. Reinhardt says Earth Shatter knockdown duration has been increased from 2.75 to 3 seconds. Now this is the original Earth Shatter that was there in Overwatch 1 and before the nerf that Earth Shatter got for no reason. So this is the original Earth Shatter where people lay down for 3 seconds. This is amazing. Shockwave range has been increased from 20 to 25 meters, so you can finally shatter from Narnia and follow up at it, giving Ryan a little bit more room to breathe and not get up ahead into everybody's, you know, cooldown range. So this is actually very nice buff for Reinhardt. I would even argue that this is more quality of life. But honestly, thumbs up, you know, buffs for Ryan is always nice. He's definitely feeling a little bit better this season, but, you know, he could use a little bit more. Sigma's experimental barrier movement speed has been increased from 16.5 to 20 meters per second, and the developer comments here is that this change will improve Sigma's ability to protect allies that are further away from him. My only question is exactly when is Sigma using this to protect allies? But if it's for some niche interactions, then honestly this change is basically harmless. If anything, this would be better to cut off Widow line of sight on the enemy team so you can protect your teammates faster. So you know what, this is a nice change. Sigma is a pretty fine tank. I never have problems with Sigma. He's honestly one of the most fair characters in the game. So I'm always okay with Sigma, you know, getting some love. So this is Wrecking Ball's rework. So bear with me as we get through this. Grappling Claw, hold the jump input while the Grappling Claw is attached to terrain to retract it, pulling yourself towards the anchor point. This action can be rebound in the hero settings. Now has a 1 second cooldown if ball never reaches ramming speed before cancelling the ability. That is very interesting. Interrupting it with hack, hinder, and stuns will still trigger the full cooldown. The maximum duration timer no longer triggers unless he reaches ramming speed. Adaptive shielding can now be reactivated to redistribute up to 300 overhealth to nearby allies, capping at 75 per person. Enemy and ally detection radius increased from 10 to 13 meters. Now the interesting thing here is that does this mean that first, like because it says can now be reactivated, does that mean that you first absorb the overhealth from the enemies and then distribute it to the allies? Or how does this work? Regardless, this is still a pretty strong ability, and we might see the ball tracer somewhere meta. However, you know, I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about this. It's one of those things where it's really scary on paper, and in execution it might be even worse. So I'm gonna wait and see how that goes. Minefield health increased from 50 to 60. Why did Minefield get a health buff? This is so unnecessary. The general goes here to add a direct wave for Ball to support his allies, aside from enemy disruption, making the hero more approachable, improving quality of life around the grapple. But why the Minefield health buff? This is ridiculous. That just means Minefield will feel a little bit more annoying to interact with. See, again, like even the fact like Minefield saw a health increase. Why? It's so stupid. Anyways, guys, on the damage side of things, we know Sombra lost damage in the virus from 100 down to 90. Tracer is the interesting one. Let's see what they did to nerf her. So Rico's cooldown has been increased from 12 to 13 seconds. That's pretty, I wouldn't say it's very harsh, but it's definitely going to make you be a little bit more wary on Tracer. You have to be a little bit more careful. But I wouldn't say this is a harsh nerf. This is like one of those things that you can somewhat even ignore. Pulse Bomb's base projectile size has been decreased from 0.2 to 0.1. Total projectile size is now 0.25 meters. A lot of people were saying this, that Pulse Bomb is actually pretty huge in terms of size. So this seems to be like, this is like they're kind of nerfing it back to a more decent size where it's not as forgiving to use. So, nice to see that. For any good Tracer player, this a Pulse Bomb nerf is pretty much whatever, So I don't know. I don't think this kills Dive. I still think Tracer, Sombra, Ball, very, very good characters going into this next patch. Venture, Drill Dash, impact damage decreased from 60 to 40, damage over time increased from 40 to 60. Clobber, impact damage decreased from 40 to 30, damage over time increased from 30 to 40. Tectonic Shock, vertical knockback decreased by 30%, which is the ultimate if I'm not mistaken. Now, before we continue, a lot of people are confused about these patch notes and if this is a buff or if this is a nerf. Let me make this clear. The impact damage is burst damage, damage over time is sustained damage. What is king in this game, and especially against the oppressive healing in this game? It is burst damage. Venture has seen a nerf to their burst damage and has seen a buff to their sustained damage, and the sustained damage is not going to be enough against all the healing in the game. This is going to make their combos feel even more inconsistent. Now, on paper, if you can control the damage over time and apply the entire thing, you won't feel the differences, but, every character can run around and jump around and fly around and swim around, so this is one of those things where Venture, like, this is a little bit of a nerf and it's silly. Like, I don't think Venture was going to be broken anyway, but whatever. Moving on to the support role, let's see if my predictions came true, where they will move everybody to being a heal bot slowly and progressively. Look at this. Illari Solo Rifle, we knew what they were doing. Primary fire recovery increased from 0.2 to 0.25. I don't agree with this. This is something that you could have left as is. Stop messing with the muscle memory that people have, but whatever. Secondary fire healing per second up from 105 to 115. There you go. That's a healing power creep. That's a healing creep. Whatever. Power of healing has gone up. Lucio, Sonic Amplifier, the damage per projectile has been decreased from 20 to 18. Since when was Lucio doing insane damage? And we're in the new big like the big 250 HP pulls. Why would they nerf his damage? Soundwave damage decreased from 35 to 45. So they changed up the way the combo. This is really awkward. So it's mostly the same, but now it'll make him be a little bit more combo. Maybe this might actually be a net buff, depending on how the combo works. That's interesting. This might need some testing, but Life Weaver. Here we go. Life Weaver's way interesting. So Lucio didn't get any healing buffs. Illari did. Life Weaver, Rejuvenating Dash, healing increase from 50 to 60. That's a big yikes. Tree of Life, Pulse healing increase from 75 to 90 healing. 90 healing per pulse. 60 healing from Rejuvenating Dash. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. This might make Life Weaver very strong. He will be so tanky now with the big HP pool, 60 heal, 90 heal or Tree of Life. Already they buffed his healing, I believe, last season on the left on his primary fire. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know about this. This might be a bit too much. Again, what was the point of moving on to this new DPS passive world, this new 250 HP world, when we were going to progressively buff all the supports anyway, and healing is still getting buffed. Moira is next. Moira's biotic grass damage per second has been decreased from 65 to 60. So I believe the original value was 55. So they settled on a middle ground, which they might have decided like early on anyway. So I'm okay with 60. I think 60 is like a. I'm willing to settle for 60. Coalescence is self-healing per second increase from 50 to 55. Guys, if you saw my past few videos, I've already talked about the fact that Moira in Coalescence is impossible to kill. In fact, there's a clip I'll play on the screen right now, and you can see over here that Moira is near impossible to kill because of the new health pool and the way that her self-healing from Coalescence works. And we just buffed that. So now Moira is almost impossible to kill in Coalescence. This is ridiculous. Again, we are seeing so many self-healing, look, we're just seeing all these like stay alive gimmicks in the game get stronger. Like healing got stronger. This character's ability to create overhealth got stronger. That character can now give overhealth to other people. This character can generate more overhealth for himself. This is getting out of hand. What was the point of trying to move into a state of the game where we said that we wanted the game to feel better, where shooting felt more rewarding and fun, when they're just going to cave in to the bad support players and start progressively buffing everything back to the way things used to be? We are literally, healing-wise, slowly going back to the way things used to be. Mark my words, Mercy and Brigitte are going to be the next focus points of progressively getting their buffs to keep up with the new health pools and everything. And then even Zen might go up in 20 healing per second to 25 healing per second, or whatever the case might be. But you know, the most interesting thing in all of this is in the roles that you're seeing right now, support as a role has been buffed. Damage as a role has been nerfed entirely. For like, what is it? Sombra, Tracer, Venture. All three of them have been made more inconsistent in a way. Okay, Sigma, Reinhardt, Queen, Doomfist. All the tanks have gotten a buff. I've already been saying that tank is actually beginning to feel like a strong role now. Yes, we still have the counter swap problem, but tank is not as bad in this new patch, new gameplay state as it was back in Season 8. If anything, they're really feeling like the big titan that controls the game again. But of course, we had to do so much, right? We have to give them like all these abilities, all the healing needs to go. Is this good for the game though? No. And you know what's inevitable? Power creep. Power creep is coming. Junker Queen's Carnage impact damage going up is the first sign. They are going to do this with other characters too. I can see Genji's dash maybe getting a small 55 DPS buff or 50 or 60 buff, and they will say the same thing, that it was done in order to, you know, keep up with the transition of the game into the 250 HP pools. Then we might see things like Junkrat's one-shot combo come back, but with a smaller radius on the concussion line. Some stuff like that. I can see that happening, or Pharah getting a buff too, because Pharah's really bad. They really need to help Pharah out whenever they can. Regardless, my point in all of this, it's already late. It's almost 12 a.m. for me, and I'm gonna go to sleep after this video. I really want to hear your guys' thoughts below. Is this the right direction for the game? In my opinion, and of course it's my opinion, I don't think this is the right path to go, because progressively, since the first patch we got after the initial 20 healing reduction being changed to 15%, the way I see it is tank has progressively been getting buffed. I've been seeing support as a role get buff, and DPS as a role has been quietly getting small nerfs. So I don't know. That's just my opinion on everything. Anyways, everybody, that's going to be it for the video. I will see you guys in tomorrow's video, where I'll be live streaming, and I will also do a video on covering the hypocrisy of the report system. So see you then.